What do you mean we nailed it? Here we go. Here we go, here we go. What's this? Looking a bit lopsided. What? The paper's a bit hard, actually. The girls got it ready for me yesterday, 2 days ago, and it's been sitting in the pack for a couple of days. It's very dry weather. And the paper's actually a bit harder than it should be, so I think I'm going to re-moisten some of it here. Paper's tiny bit too dry. Let's got to do this so you can see what's going on. Two by two here, just the paper's already moist, but not moist enough, so a bit of extra water here. How many sheets today? I'm not really sure. I don't know what the girls put in here. I asked them for like the usual stack, 40, 50, 60 or so. So I'm not sure, I'm sorry. As usual, it's in 4 groups. Maybe there's 15 in a group. About 60, I don't know. The current group I'm doing, I can't moisten that because it's right here. Okay, what I've just done is I moistened the next group coming up so that by the time I get there in a half an hour to be ready. I can't put water on the group I'm doing now because this would be too much water. So I'll have to struggle through a bit for the first group here. Block's dry now. So, another day, another bunch of owls. It's tapered down. The orders now are really cutting back. A lot of people, they can't get them in time now. They're ordering from Japan. There's no way it's going to be guaranteed to get there in time for the holiday thing. So the orders have now dropped off a lot. There's still an option on the website, for getting the prints and then asking for super express shipping, but that costs almost as much as the prints itself, so only the most desperate people do that. Then I got a small bit of news for is William watching here today? Yes, he is. Good morning, good morning. Got a little bit of news for you, sir. The paper I'm using today, just a minute. The paper I'm using today is stuff we've had around here for about 3 years. It's the same paper made by the same living national treasure, Iwano-san. Same paper we've been using for a long time. But those of you who've been following our activities for a while know that about a couple of years ago the paper really started to give us a lot of trouble. It seemed quite defective, actually, honestly, and we were struggling. I was doing my own sizing, and because we couldn't make it happen, because the paper was pilling up all the time, our first assumption, rather than that the living national treasure was screwing up, was that, I didn't know what I was doing. I was screwing up. So we sent a batch of the paper, about 60 sheets, for a test out to the old guy who'd been doing sizing for me for many years. He'd been gradually getting not so good at it, so that's why we'd quit. But anyway, because I was struggling myself, I thought, let's do this. Let's send a batch of paper out to him. I forget what it was, like 100 sheets or something. I don't remember, 80 sheets, 100 sheets. It came back unusable. He had put too much, myoban, what's the English word? He put too much alum in the size on the front when he sized the front of the sheets. So they're all sparkly. You can see it. There's a real sparkly surface on the front of the sheet. And if you try and print on that, the pigment really has difficulty going inside. So we put that paper aside, unusable. It's been sitting in the closet or, on a shelf here for the last couple of years. Right now, we're trying to figure out what paper to use for all these owls because our paper balance, the paper we're getting from a new supplier hasn't come through yet, and we're getting low on the paper from Iwanasan. So when we were getting ready to do this printing today, I looked at that paper and thought, can I be a hero? Can I actually print on this thing, even though it's heavily sized too much? And then I remembered the experience I saw a couple of weeks ago of William. He sent me those prints that he made from England on paper that had been sized way too much on the front. It was all sparkly. On the back, I forget whichever way it was. Anyway, sparkly on one side, the side that William had used. And then he had printed it on the other side. So I thought, let's do that. So the paper I'm using today, sorry to be rambly with the story, it's sized too heavily on the front surface, which makes it sparkly. But the back seems quite light. So what I'm doing is, this whole batch of owls is going to be printed on the back side of the paper. Idea courtesy William Francis. Does this mean anything at the end of the day when the prints are finished? No, because the paper is essentially the same. The only difference front and back is the way it was dried on the boards. As the paper's being made, it's rocked and dipped. At that point, it has no front or back. When it's in the stack losing water, when they peel off the wet sheets and put them on the drying boards, that's the point that the front and back gets decided. Drying boards are flat, so the face that's on the drying boards is called the front from then on. But as far as the structure of the paper goes, it doesn't make any difference at all. Too much talk, not enough smooth moving here. Also, I got something else to show you guys this morning here. But let me get the first little batch here done first, then I'll take a break for a minute and show you something we did yesterday here. There were no parties at all yesterday in the shop, so I got a sort of a break from the shop. Teiko-san and Matsuma-san did they were watching downstairs. I spent all day yesterday upstairs, the whole day in the printing room here. I didn't do any printing myself, I had the video camera running. This paper is hard. What's the question? Other parts of Asia? Yeah, I've been to China a couple of times. I know Taiwan, Hong Kong. That's it, I guess. These days, no traveling for me. A bit of an experiment here. Oh, questions. What's happening? Chibi prints. Why do we not? Just a minute. I'm not sure. Hang on a second. I'm not sure what the question is. When we've been doing those chibi prints usually at 2 up, what we call 2 up, 2 on a block. I know it could have been done more. I guess 4 on a block. The more you put on a block, the more you get registration trouble, you know. The more different prints and the more different registrations are on one piece of wood, the more and more difficult it gets, you know. So originally when we made the Chibi Heroes series, nothing to do with Patreon, originally it was just simply 2 prints a month. So we put 2 on each block to make a 1-month package. Then last year when earlier this year, when we did the Patreon thing, we just followed the same format. too many small things on one block, and it gets difficult. Paper is ready to dry, and what I'm doing for each sheet, I'm putting more water on it right a few seconds before I print it. I brushed water across the top of one sheet there. It's sitting there right now. The water is sort of soaking into it. I get the block ready. During the 1 minute or so that I get the block ready, the water is soaking into the top surface of that sheet of paper. And then at the last second, once the block's ready now, that wet piece of paper, I'm going to put it face down on newsprint, blot off the extra water, and then print. So just at the last minute, it gets a whole next splash of water. It's now quite soft. Yeah, nice and smooth. So now for the next sheet, again, same thing. The paper's a tad too dry. So you can't see it. I'm taking a brush, I'm just putting some water right on the top surface of it. Soup. It's sitting there drinking water now. That surface is drinking water. Now goes face down on the newsprint. The water gets blotted off, so there's no loose standing water here now. But the paper is much softer than it was 1 minute ago. The super bee owl again, right? Something I said as a joke the other day downstairs in the shop, the staff has now started to take seriously. Those of you who have been following our work for a couple of years, we did the Kickstarter campaign 3 years ago to help get the shop running. And we offered the Great Wave prints, as part of the campaign. And there were problems while we were making it. And you know the story. We ended up going to Hokusai's grave and leaving a food offering on his grave to say thank you for for letting us use his work and stuff like that. It was all sort of in fun. For some of the staff here, it wasn't so much fun as serious. And now they're talking about the same thing. This year's end of year season for us has been helped not by Hokusai, but by Hiroshige, the guy who designed this owl. So they're starting to get on to me. Go over to Hiroshige's grave and leave something. Another excursion in video, yeah. Okay, that's the first tint. That's the weak blue just once. Now we do it again on the same, be a bit lighter pressure for the rubbing now. For the second coat. Can I find out what they've left me too? It's here. So it's too wet to count. Way too wet. Looks like 15. So I guess they've given me a batch of 60, I guess. 4 groups of 15. Not sure. So I'd have to do some reading first. I don't know what Hiroshige is noted for as far as food, and was he a drinker? I don't know. I have to do some research first. Nice rich blue. Yeah, so nice. Here we are. Now, you've seen this many, many times, but there it is. Beautiful, nice, smooth, rich blue. I couldn't do this in one pass, you know. The good old printers in the good old days could do it, albeit with better paper. But they would do it in one. We here, we're relegated to doing it in two. So. Yeah, leave an owl print. Yeah, you're right. So, you know, don't worry about candy or booze or something. He's probably not too hungry at this stage, but leave him an owl print. We'll have to get over there. He's not so close. And a hook-sized grave is a walkable distance, just a couple of minutes away. But Hiroshike's grave it's in the what would have been the northern suburbs back in those days. A short train right away. Stream looks okay at this end. Am I doing something wrong here? Let's have a check at the Wi-Fi usage. I'm okay. I'm showing 0.001% drop frames. So there are some drop frames. And wax paper, it's not actually wax paper, it's silicone, some kind of silicone impregnated paper. I don't know what it's used for in an industrial sense. Maybe bakeries use it, I don't know. It gives me a good slip. I know, excuse me, sorry. I'm really bearing down hard on this paper, and you know, when it's moistened really properly, it really is quite soft. And to avoid leaving striation marks from my rubbing tool in the back, we put the paper in there, you know. I probably could get away without it, but it's just much, much easier and safer to use it. And sometimes it's really essential when the paper really is soft. Today the paper is pretty hard. I could probably get away without it, but it minimizes those circular striations in the finished color. Oh, pretty nice, eh? Beautiful base. If I had nothing on the job list today, I'd be able to finish these tonight. 60 of these, 2 impressions on the back like this, the key block, and 3 random small colors. I can be finished by whatever, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. 60 prints. It'd be a nice day's work. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like that because we've got so many other things to do, but it's okay. This is, I don't know, what day is it today? It's Friday in Japan. I know these won't be finished today, so it's good. I've got a couple of days free time. In other words, the post office is closed Saturday and Sunday. So orders that are coming in now, we don't have any owls left. So any orders that came in last night, which I haven't seen yet, or orders today, and then over the weekend, we'll get these. So these will be a part of Monday's shipments. So it gives me a break. I don't have to get this finished today because the post office is closed for the next 2 days. So. we normally don't work to this kind of a daily deadline, of course. We're a publisher. We publish stuff, put it in stock, and then wait for orders, But to now, it's a bit different this month. It's been unusual for us to be always printing and sending right at the same time. We do with subscription prints, but they're usually in advance as well. I had something I gotta show you. Yeah, so what should I do? What's the time? 8:31. Let me finish this batch. It's a hair, loose hair somewhere. Excuse me. Perfect, man. Really, really nice job. Do I say that too much? Rich, smooth blue. It's the goal, when you're doing this work, you've got to keep that in mind every minute, every time you take a piece of paper off the block, So whatever, my work is repetitive. Probably the things I say are repetitive too, I guess. Whatever. Can't be helped. The repetition is the name of our game here. It's our life. Rich, smooth blue. It's programmed into my brain right now. Okay, we're getting a tiny bit of pilling. I don't know if we can see this under the... Let's try. Not sure if you can see it. There's a tiny bit of feathering, pilling. Is it going to show or not? It's perhaps almost invisible. Down at the bottom here, the fibers of the paper, some of them are pulling up a little bit. I'm using a bit too much pressure on that second impression. The paper is giving up a little bit. It's okay, they'll lay down if I ask them, please lie down and sleep, you know, they'll glue back together. But it's a bit too much paste and or pressure. And right at the edge of the block there, you tend to put pressure around the outside. When you're printing, when a bad printer will put too much pressure, you know, on the edge rather than in the middle. Luckily, you get these warnings, you know, the paper starts to pull up. Whoops, okay, Dave, be careful, you know. Hair on the block. Brush hair, black brush hair. So I was obviously rubbing too much with the heel of my hand here, so try and balance it a bit better. Still a bit there. Okay, what have we got left in this group here? The NHK question here. What's this? Oh, no. Just a sec. What's the questions here? NHK question. 2020 Olympics. You're talking about the program, not Tokyo 2020i. It's a current series on NHK. They're featuring different areas of Tokyo. I was on one last year, or was it this year? Earlier this spring? I don't remember. Earlier this spring. Some of the shots of you carving were from many years ago. I don't know, NHK has been playing with me for many, many years more. The first time they came to my workshop would have been in 1989. They put me on the evening news one day back in 1989. So they've got archival footage of me going back 28 years. I know. So I don't know. Well, you know, they just grab stuff from their archive. So none of that's any control of mine. You know, when I appear on an NHK program, you just, you know, if you agree to go on, you just do what they ask, and what happens back in the editing studios, what they're going to use or pull up or mix together, is out of your control, of course. You know, I'm okay with it. They're obviously not going to do anything that's negative for me. There's a cynical viewpoint about NHK. Now and then I get a comment, you know, on one of the YouTube videos or something, that I think I've talked about this before on one of the streams here. You know, people ask Dave, why do you allow NHK to use you in their propaganda? You know, and that's a viewpoint. Their mandate is to make Japan look good, to show happy things about Japan, to show Japan as a, you know, progressive, modern, wonderful country. That's what a national broadcaster sort of is supposed to do, I guess. You know. So from NHK's point of view, the fact that a foreigner comes in, looks at Japanese art and says, wow, this is cool, I mean, that sort of fits in with their message that they want to broadcast to the world. So is that propaganda? I guess so. I don't know, you know. You know, NHK is not going to ask me to narrate some program talking about whale hunting and Chinese massacres and whatever, you know. I mean, there's lots of aspects to every country, lots of history to every country, and this is just my little corner of it. So loose hair, it keeps coming back. I keep seeing it. It won't tell. Where is it? Somewhere. There it is. Bit too much paste there. Okay, there's 2 sheets in this first batch of 15 left. We'll take a break for a minute to show you something else, something we did yesterday here. On yesterday morning's stream, those of you who were here yesterday, you saw me cutting part of the key block to the first print in the boss fight series. I hear noise in the background here. Who could it be? You saw me cutting the key block for the first print in the boss fight series. Hello, hello. Morning.
Owls, I presume?
Of course.
Of course.
How? Where's your paycheck coming from?
All your generous Twitch followers. Say hi for me. I don't think I can really sit in.
No, not this way. Come sit in my lap.
Yeah, I don't think that'll work
I don't
too
think
well.
so.
No, but cool. Say hi. I saw the letter in a package on your desk.
Yeah, there's an interesting story there. Yeah, very much so. I know. When he came, I didn't have high hopes for that. And a couple of years ago, talk. But the guy can do something. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Also, last night, after you left, I can't talk about this on the stream, but I took my little Hanko and
Cool. That's great.
we're done.
Yes. That's good. Good.
What? Have you done something with the computer camera setting?
What?
The frame, it's crashing. Camera shows up and it's crashing here.
I didn't do anything.
The drop frame rate is soaring.
I just bring death to your stream.
Is it your phone or something? You're not. Surely not, right?
No, I'm not uploading anything at all.
Did you wake up the Big Mac there?
Just now, just a second ago when I walked back. But I haven't opened any programs, it's just on the login screen.
Okay, it's stable now. There were some drop frames. It's now stabled. But here we are. We're all kinds of people. Stream is down, stream is down.
That is so bizarre. Okay, I'll just stand here quietly.
Pretend you don't exist. It seems to be up. It seems all right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I have no devices connected to anything.
Nothing. It's your body. You're a sponge for Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah,
Somebody say.
That is weird.
All right, that's the first group of 15. Okay, I was saying yesterday, yesterday's stream, you saw me carving the key block for the first of the boss fights prints, carving off the stuff that And yesterday, Suga-san, she got my block, and we did the first proofing. I didn't do this. Suga-san, our printer, did this. And I sat there with the camera and shot everyone. A couple things. This isn't the actual finished version because we've still got some ways to organize the colors and things have to be a bit deeper. This brown is way too weak. Stuff like that. But here we are. These are the first actual prints from the blocks for the first print in the Ukiyo-e Heroes boss fight series. It's not perfect. There's still a few places we have to carve, and there's a couple of places where some of the blocks are too shallow. There's some red blood spilled all over his shirt here, which is, it's a bug, not a feature. Here we go. I don't know if the camera's going to cooperate if I zoom in a bit here. It might keep focus or not, I don't know. I think it's a bit blurred, isn't it? So there we go. We'll. Is Jed still here or not? I guess he's not here today. I don't know. Jed, are you on stream? Come alive. Say hello. I guess he's not here today. I'll give him a Skype call later on today and let him know what's going on. Is it going to show up here a bit better, maybe? So we're pretty happy with it. So there's, as we said yesterday, there's 6 new Heroes prints coming. We did 6 in the Kickstarter campaign. This one is now, blocks are carved, test proofing has started, block adjustments, there's still a few more block adjustments, and then printing starts. Suga-san, she's going to be here this afternoon making paper wet for the first batch of these to go to Kickstarter backers. The Dragon's Gift print, the second one, block set is finished downstairs, waiting for us to find time to proof it, do the same thing. The third print, the Serpent Strikes, the one based on the Metal Gear Solid. Carving is whatever, 90x%, 95x% finished. The blocks will be back here next week, waiting for us to start test printing. So you can see the carving has been going forward really well. Our block now is printing, finding time to do all these printing jobs. It would have been nice if Ayumi-san was still here regularly as a full-time printer, but that's not possible. So our block now is printing block. Okay, time for me to get back to work here. What time is it now? 8? Oh, we've got no problem. Okay, I'm back to now the second group of 15. 15 more blank sheets. Stream rate is not changing. It seems okay. Oh, this is hard now. There's something, construction or something going on outside. There's a new shop, and 2 doors down on the left side. They've been building a new shop. I thought it was a restaurant, but now that they're getting further along, it seems like it's perhaps not a restaurant. I don't really know. It's just sort of an open space. I guess they'll be putting something into it. But there's still various construction going on, and most of the construction happens at this time of day. They can't, do stuff when so many people are streaming around on back and forth on the street. So quite often that's why you hear noise on our stream. Trucks pulling in and out there. As I mentioned then, yesterday when Subi-san was making that test print, I hovered over her the whole day with a video camera. So I've got a bunch of video now in the can showing that last sprint, the boss fight sprint, come together step by step by step by step by step. So that video's in the camera. It's a question of finding a bit of a chance to put it together into a logical stream and make a video out of it. So I guess that's what the next YouTube video will be. Sure, there's something in the paper here. You see it, Jonathan. There's something in the middle of the actual paper itself. I wonder what it is here. No idea. There's some kind of thin spot inside the paper. This one will end up being a spoiled print here. So can't complain about all the defects because we've got lots of defects of our own, of course, we add. So. Every time I talk about spoiled prints, somebody says the kind of same thing, kind of have it or discount or whatever. No, they don't go. Nobody would want it, Your eyes just always come back to the defect. It's just no pleasure having something like that, What's the question? The drops. What's the clear liquid he puts 2 drops of every time? What we've got here, there are 3, I've got 3 cups in front of me. You can see 2 of them. One is the pigment. It's quite rich and deep, and you see I only put the tiniest little dab of it onto the brush. Second is we've got paste. It's just rice paste. We're not making it with rice these days, but it's rice paste. Now down here in the bottom I've got some water. It's just a bit of water, what I need when the block is a bit too dry. So basically it's the rice paste, a couple of dabs. That's going to supply most of the body of the stuff that's on the surface of the wood. Then we need just the tiniest dab of color, that's all. So it's rice paste and pigment. If it turns out that I've talked too much, I'm a bit too slow and the block is dried out a bit, I would then pull in a bit of water as well, just to help freshen it up and wake it up a bit. So for us, it's powder pigment mixed in water with no other binder. There's nothing, no glue or anything in the pigment itself. It's powder pigment with water and a bit of light rice paste. Now, a lot of Westerners who have no access to tubes of Japanese paste, they're using, what was it called? Methyl cellulose or something is a popular thing that Westerners are using for this job. Well, it's not for stickiness, I mean, the paper isn't sliding, somebody's saying. That's not because of the paste. The paste isn't actually gluing the paper to the block. purpose of the paste is just to give body to the pigment. If I just use the powder and water by itself, it's too blotchy, it's too dotted. Using the paste gives it a smooth texture. It's a tiny bit dry, that last one. I'm going to put extra water in the brush here, along with a bit of pigment. The stuff we're using recently, it's really easy to use. This is where we get our paste. It says shoji nori. It's a paste for household use. They used to put the shoji screens up. It's way too thick. We cut it with water, and the reason we use this over and above the rice paste is because the rice paste really it's just 100% starch. And it's food for bugs. I don't like the idea of having it in the paper. Bookworms and whatever as years go by. This stuff is not edible. It does the same job for us functionally, but it's sort of, what's the word? It's static. It doesn't change. It doesn't get old or whatever. And they've also put, what's the word? Kabidome, to stop, antiseptic, to stop a mold. So I think it's a win-win on that one, I think. What's this? You got a bottle of shoji nori? I don't remember. Did I? I don't remember, I'm sorry. I sent a link or something. Very nice, very nice. Once you get the water balance right, the paper is beautifully soft and supple. Very, very nice. These are not New Year's prints. I know we have a separate New Year's print that's going to be sent out to people, to business associates and friends here, and to the Patreons who have supported us at that level. There's a separate New Year's print. This is just one of our general gift prints that we put on our page for sale. Someone says, what's this? I should move to Japan and work at Dave's shop. I know, are you good enough? I know. How many years of experience do you have? Paste everywhere now. if somebody else has been working here, please put your stuff on that fan page. You know, I think everybody's really, really enjoying seeing everybody else's progress. You know, it's encouraging. You know, when we see, you know, a whole bunch of other people trying this and doing this, it really encourages everybody to get going. So if you've been doing some of this, please put it in that fan page. How long does it take to get to Canada from Japan? We're now past the deadline. The post office announced the deadline to ship to Canada before Christmas, and it was December 11th. We're done. We're still shipping at this end every few days, but the post office is no longer guaranteeing delivery by Christmas. So yeah, Canada Post, we get very, very late stuff from Canada sometimes, you know. There's countries that we just don't send to anymore because the stuff just never shows up, you know. Excuse me. South Africa, Brazil, we've basically just, if an order comes in, we just ask cancel it and refund the money because the stuff just never gets through, even with tracking numbers. It's South Africa, Brazil, Philippines. I'm not trying to be insulting to anybody, just the reality. We have lots and lots of experience and stuff just doesn't go through. So we've learned, we got a good trick with the Philippines. One of the customers who was out there showed us what to do. They said, have the people send it to their local bank branch. And that's what we've been doing. Anybody in the Philippines, rather than sending it to their home, they check it up with their bank first, and we send it to that person's name at local branch bank, Nanto. And that way stuff goes through. So it seems whoever's in the customs or post office who steals stuff, they will steal personal mail, but they won't steal anything that's, you know, sort of corporate or bank or whatever. So for the Philippines, that's what we do whenever an order comes in from the Philippines. I haven't tried that with Brazil. I don't know. And South Africa, we've just given up. We've lost a couple of great ways. They're tracked. They go into the South African post office. The tracking number just stops there. Nothing comes out the other end. And when the recipient asks the post office about it, they just shrug their shoulders. Can't find it. So tracking means nothing for those guys. So. America, the problems we get, if America stuff arrives, nothing gets stolen, but it arrives in sometimes pretty horrible condition. We've lost also 2 great ways this year from America that have been folded in half. You know, we send in I can't say indestructible box because it gets destroyed sometimes, but we send in a very strong box. And we've had 2 of them just folded in half. So the guys obviously won't fit in the door, so he's taken the whole box and broken it over his knee. They just don't give a hoot. But it's pretty rare. The big stuff we send is insured. So we replace it, and eventually a year later, whatever, we get our money back. But small prints like this just go in envelopes as first-class mail, usually with no problem. thing about those damaged prints, though, even a great wave print, where the package was broken in half over a guy's knee, from the consumer's point of view, the whole thing's destroyed. When we get it back here, take the print out of the packaging, and it's violently folded in half. We can sometimes actually fix this. We get the blocks back out, moisten the paper, and put it back on the same blocks. Like this one, for example, if this owl print had been destroyed, folded in half, I get the same block out, moisten the paper, even though the print is finished, and with no pigment, just put the paper onto the block here and press, and we can frequently, quite frequently, we can get it back to normal. Not always. If the creases are too deep or if the paper's torn, we're out of luck. But I remember too, I would have been about, 8 or 9 or 10 back in Edmonton on the prairies, back in the late 1950s, My dad, his day job finished each morning, so he had the afternoons free. And there must have been a deal one Christmas or something where the post office was backed up and they were advertising for people to come and help them deliver packages. Just, not post office people, just normal citizens, whatever. So he must have gone. We had a little white Volkswagen, and I remember driving into the cavernous post office, and there were literally mountains of boxes and packages. They were sort of northeast, northwest, whatever. And you would just shovel. You would just get the Volkswagen, open the doors, and stack it with boxes, one by one by one by one by one. And then head out. He and I would head out. He'd drive around town, and we'd deliver these things. And there would be people who weren't at home. So we get back to the post office with whatever, the 6 or 7 boxes or something that we hadn't been able to deliver. And we drive the Volkswagen down into the bowels of the post office. And the guys there, they open the doors and they just whip these packages out and huck them back onto this mountain. Literally just huck them up onto the mountain. Those people are the postal workers' viewpoint. Those people that weren't home, they're going to make trouble for us, the hell with them. They just throw these boxes. And this is back in 1959 and 1960 and so. And nobody clearly gave a damn about anything. So it's not like there was good old days, You can see this was that disturbed copy. There's a mark inside the paper. Might get away with it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's it.
How's the time? 9:20. So I got to get out of here pretty soon. So I'll finish this on our batch to the end. So I'll probably run past my normal time today because I want to finish this group of 15. There's no party at 10 o'clock today, so I don't think. Or just a minute. No, there was a party reservation during the night, but it wasn't for today, so. looking good. What am I supposed to say? I forget my keywords. I forget. Rich, deep color? Rich, deep blue? I forget what I'm supposed to say. Cameron's job today, we're setting up a new, we're now that we have an actual office person, we're of course redoing our IT stuff here. I've been doing all the bookkeeping on stuff I wrote myself. So we're setting up things so that a number of us can do it instead of just Dave's personal business all the time. So we've got a new iMac that they set up yesterday, and we just got we've got a new drill bolt system because we're looking at lots more video. And the video so far, the editing has been kind of hit and miss, touch and run. We've got files spread all over the place. So we've now got a Drobo system he was setting up last night. We're going to try and get the video a lot more organized. So if anybody out there has any experience using a drill ball and has any little hints, things we should watch for, trouble ideas or whatever, let me know. Am I not sick of owls? Is that a rhetorical question or a question for me? I'm not sick of owls at all. I know. As printmakers, we recognize this is our job, You think this is bad, There's the young boy, Yamamoto-san. He's doing our great wave printing. It's like 10 days to do a batch of 50. And I have no idea how many he's made for us now. It's, hundreds. You just have to like this, putting the pigment on, then peeling the paper off and looking at that color, and you got to think to yourself, deep, rich blue, and you got to enjoy it each time, It doesn't matter how many hundreds, because each one is always so difficult. It's never so easy that it's easy and brainless, you have to watch, and I can't say struggle with each one, that's too dramatic, but it's not easy, which keeps it, Something like that, talking about the film on the phone, you know. I know there's something similar. We don't always just peel off every sheet from everything we do. But that same pleasure at, wow, what a cool thing, and it's made so well and it's so nice and I did it, you know. And it's always there, you know. No, I wasn't in any... I'm laughing with you, no problem. No apology, it's okay. I go to sleep dreaming, rich, deep blue, it's okay. The question again about RSI again, this comes up lots and lots, and we have no experience with RSI here at all. We've talked about the mechanics of this sometimes. The common point of trouble when people are typing and stuff, they get wrist problems, and I think that's from this. That's the reason why this bench is tilted, so that when I'm doing the rubbing, we're not rubbing at an angle like this. We're rubbing, this is locked, so I'm not actually flexing my wrist and pushing like this. I'm locking, once the bearing's on, this locks, my elbow locks, and I'm leaning forward. So there's no actual stress on this because it's all locked up. Then the rest of it's just common sense. Just do different jobs. Don't stay all day in one place, you know. The girls who are printers, they do that. They just sit there. But remember, we've got our feet are down in. Eh? I'm not sitting cross-legged. My feet are going under the printing bench. And in the world of Japanese traditional printmaking here, it's unknown. Nobody knows anything about that sort of injury. It's just unheard of. In the early days, I used to ask too, you know, I'd see the printer working all day and I'd ask him, wow, you know, are your wrists okay? Is your back okay? Is your shoulder okay? You know, they just look at me like, what have you been smoking? You know, there's no... There is an interesting twist to that. And my friend Namabe-san, he's 66. He's a few weeks older than me. He's been doing this for longer than me because that was, I think it was his first job. So in his middle 20s he started, I guess. I've only been doing this since I was about 30. And he's been doing it standing up. He stands up at a bench and leans over into it. And as a result, his wrist is very much distorted. And he made this choice because he's working on much larger prints. He's the main printer for the Yoshida family. And they've got smaller prints, but they've also got stuff that's like as big as this table. And when it's as big as this table, it's difficult now to work out to the corners, and the torque just doesn't work. You're printing too far away. So he stands up for that kind of stuff, modern work, 20th century work. And he's now having shoulder trouble. And he's talking about now calling it a day at 66, sort of a normal retirement, you know. And I can't criticize him because the prints he's been making are much too large to do in the traditional seated way. But maybe that's the price he's paid for it. You know, he's now out of the game at 66. And so far, I'm still in it so far. But also too, he's a heavy worker. He works just as a printer all day long, every day, and I can't claim for that at all. You know, for me, I'm just a part-time printer basically now. You know. Okay, what do we got left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets left, and then I'm out of here. And that's half of the batch. They gave me 4 stacks of 15, and I finished the first stack as you watch. This is the second stack. Four sheets left here. So here we are, getting to the end of the stream today. 4 sheets left. So what's going to be happening tomorrow? Today's Friday. Saturday. I guess what will happen is, today I've got lots and lots of office stuff to do. So I'll probably just leave this paper here. And whatever good news or bad news tomorrow, I'll be just continuing this job. I'm sorry, I know. Because it's the weekend, we can't ship tomorrow anyway. So my deadline to get these things finished is Sunday afternoon. So we can ship them to Ome. They receive it Monday morning. They ship them Monday afternoon. So here, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, the 2 streams, will probably be continuation of this work. So a little bit boring for you, I'm sorry, but it'll be the same work I'll be doing now for the next 2 streams, I think. Oh, here's Sugasankana. She and I worked together yesterday all the way. Good morning. Yeah, it's a stream. Come and say hello. Morning, morning. Normally when we're on the second floor, you see Sugi-san come by. She's here today. I don't want to turn this thing because it unplugs if I... No, the main cam, am I getting okay? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Bugger this, that's what I get. It's my fault for moving this thing. Nice way to end the stream, not. I think Twitch rebooted. It's a new stream actually, so whatever. Anyway, I got 2 sheets of paper left and we're out of here. So. Okay, last sheet for this morning. Then we're done. Out of here. Someone just coming along. Sorry, guy, you've missed most of it. This is the last sheet. I'm out of here in 60 seconds. We've been at it for an hour and a half. More than an hour and a half today. Owl printing. Tomorrow also will be owl printing, just to let you know, so you won't be disappointed. Okay. Today's last sheet. Do I know a Betty Bull? That's my mother. Is she on the stream here? She's been asking me for instructions on how to get in here and how to type and how to read stuff and things like that. That's my mother. She may be listening, I guess. She's told me she was able to be listening but wasn't able to contribute or even to read the chat. I sort of showed her how to get a login running, but she says different advertisements show and she's never able to see what you guys are typing. She said she can hear my responses. So I've tried to give her instructions on what to do here. She asked to join the fan group. Well, let her in, let her in. It's my mother, and I can pretty much guarantee you she'll be the most senior member in that group, I think. You're not supposed to talk about a lady's age, but hey, I'm 66. If my mom does figure out the chat thing, she'll probably be, typing in all caps. So if she does, please don't jump on her for that. She's not too familiar with some of the internet, memes, or not memes, but habits and customs and stuff. So if she does come along and type all caps, just ride with it, please. Okay, there we go. That's enough for this morning. Half of my work is done on this thing. 30 out of 60 sheets are done. I'm now off to get downstairs and do some real work. It's the other way around, isn't it? Do some other work. And maybe even some video editing. Last feat for the people that just came along before. This is yesterday. Here's Suga-san's test printing from yesterday. The first of the boss fights is now into physical preparation. A physical production. This is not the finished print. There are still some problems with it. A couple of places where colors overlap. A couple of places where we didn't get colors deep enough. But here we are. It's actually now happening. And it's on the way to subscribers, not subscribers, the Kickstarter backers. What's the word? Real soon now. Let's leave this here. Okay, thanks very much. Signing off. See you tomorrow.